Hello, everyone. We are Easy Allies. I'm Daniel Bloodworth. I got to go up to EA's campus recently.
Fun.
To play Dragon Age: The Veilguard.
Is that the Redwood one?
The what?
Redwood Studios?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, the Redwood campus.
Yeah.
And played about, it was a full day, like 6 to 7 hours.
Whoa!
of gameplay. And also did an interview there, so take a look at the Patreon and the podcast feed. I'm going to put audio up from the interview as well.
Those are the most fun days of all time, by the way, Bloodworth. They're long and it's a lot, but like
Yeah.
Just a full day.
The human element and like them showing their game for one of the like early on, you know.
I think this is first hands-on, except for like IGN.
Yeah.
A couple of people
I
like
also
that.
feel like that
Yeah.
means they're confident. You know, they're
They
like,
should be confident because this game right now is running really well. It plays really well. It looks very good.
It did look really good.
And just to like put everyone in context, I'm not a Dragon Age guy. I have not played any of the Dragon Ages before. I've played old Mass Effects.
Newcomer.
There's something about Dragon Age that was like, it just never really appealed to me for
Yeah.
whatever reason, just looking from the outside in.
Yeah.
And I don't think you played much either, right?
I finished the first one.
Oh, you did play
when
the
it came
first one.
out.
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
But there was the PC version back then, which I had, was different than the console version.
Sure.
And then Dragon Age 2 is like a little weird because it's more like action style combat. And then I played a ton of that, never finished, and then I never even really touched Inquisition.
Yeah. And then Gabby, you
never played a second of Dragon Age. Oh
Okay.
no, that's not true. I have played a tiny bit of Dragon Age.
right.
Like someone else's game.
Right.
And
Yeah, I did like a Dragon Age 2 preview like ages ago. But
And
yeah.
what's the last one? Origins?
Origins is
Inquisition.
the original.
Inquisition. Yeah, I played a tiny bit of that one.
Got it.
But I'm, somewhat familiar with the characters. Like I can look at Iron Bull and be like, that is a guy for Dragon Age. Yeah.
But just so everyone knows where we're coming from, we are not the uber Dragon Age
No.
fans that are going to be analyzing every little thing
No.
on that side of things.
Yeah, no.
But there were a lot of
the
people
dragon
there. There were
heads.
people from something called the Council. I don't know what that is.
Scary.
EA has some council of Dragon Age super fans that they get feedback
Whoa.
from.
Whoa.
Everyone I talked to, though, loved it. So that's a good sign. There was like 40 to 50 PCs
Yeah.
set up there.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, 6 to 7 hours. So this was a fast-paced event, even though for that,
Yeah.
because it's a huge game. And so the way they kind of had us set up is like, okay, we had like the first 2 hours or so of the game, and then they started like skipping us forward to different parts.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
so what's interesting is like it was really well paced for what we played, but then it was also because of the time frame. It's like we did 2 hours of this and we skip forward to do like half hour of this, skip forward to an hour and a half of that. It's a little bit disconnected, and so like a lot of what we saw was like the like dungeony, set piecey, actiony parts. Less time in the let's hang out, let's explore town.
Yeah, my
Like,
favorite part.
I did go through a little bit of
Yeah.
that, but not
That's
to like
spoilery, though,
a giant
you know?
degree. Yeah, to
Yeah.
some degree, yeah. And there are definitely things on here that like I was not allowed to capture, things I'm not allowed to actually talk about after the fact. You know, so there's some of that stuff in there. But as a newcomer, one thing I want to stress is that I didn't feel like I was lost.
Okay.
Like I could tell that these characters have history with each other.
You'd
that-
probably get more.
Yeah, that you would definitely like if,
If
you
you
know
had
the
played-
full context.
yeah.
Everything is there, but I could jump in and enjoy this game. And like right now, it's like it's one of my like, most anticipated games for the rest of the year from what I played so far. So I'm going to be going fast because we're trying to cover 6 to 7 hours of like every aspect of this game that I've never played and no one else has really played other than IGN and the people that were there. But first, to set expectations also for everyone else is that this is not set up like Baldur's Gate. This is not like a virtual D&D session with tactical combat
Dice
and do
rolling.
whatever weird crazy thing you come up with. Like
Yeah.
it is a more action-oriented RPG style. So Mass Effect, I think, is a very
Of
good
course.
example of like what to expect from how
They're
the levels in
siblings,
combat.
basically.
Yeah,
They're,
yeah.
you know, Dragon Age and Mass Effect.
You're
They're the
right,
same
they are
family.
siblings.
I was also feeling a lot of God of War from the combat system, and we'll get deeper into the combat system in a bit, but like God of War, but with like more,
I'm listening.
effects and
You have my
spells
attention.
and skill trees and abilities and paths to go down, like all the different builds and stuff. And then like also kind of felt like a lot of the level design is very Uncharted-ish, go over
Why are
here.
you pandering
I
to
know,
us?
yeah.
Buzz?
Blood knows
These are the
exactly
things
what
that
to
I
say.
felt, and I even told them in my interview. I was like,
Yeah.
I feel like you got a little bit of this in there, a little bit of that in there,
Nice.
I feel like people were kind of de-hyped on this when they first showed the trailer.
The trailer was bad.
Yeah, the trailer was bad because the very little you showed on your laptop to me and Huber yesterday, like it looked nothing like
Yeah, it
that
was
trailer.
crazy.
It was like two completely different games. I don't even know where that trailer came from. Yeah.
And then, let's see, I already said that. Oh, yeah, so everything I played, even though we were skipping ahead, all of it was still Act 1. Like,
Oh, wow,
I didn't
okay.
even get to a subclass, on any of the things that I played. And because we were skipping forward, I did get to test out the 3 main classes, the Mage, the Warrior, and the Rogue. So I got a little bit of taste of those, because when you play the game, you're committed to one.
To one of those three.
Are there only 3 classes?
Are there
Main classes, but the
subs?
subclasses.
Oh, there's subclasses.
We'll
Okay.
we'll get into that stuff too, for sure. So first, one of the reasons Gabby is here is because I wanted to show Gabby the character customization the other day. I have a 27-minute clip of character customization.
I just can't wait.
Every game needs to release that shit before their game
Yes.
comes out.
Yeah.
just
Because
let
I
us
need
take
to play
hours.
it.
Yeah.
That's my
And it
game.
always, exactly, and it always takes people that are into it like hours
Yes.
and hours. And
Because-
right when a game comes out and you get to that character creator, it's like you want to play the game, but also you don't want to like rush through that. So
Yeah.
please, devs, like make that normal.
You
Just
were saying
releasing.
don't waste my time.
Yeah. Well, the
I
other
just-
feedback that I had given them, and like I don't, obviously they would have had already planned it, but like with those 3 classes, like it really would be great to have a demo to like try out each class to see what you're
Okay.
vibing
Yeah,
with first,
yeah.
because they say like. Because the class you pick also plays into like how people interact with you and talk to you. It's
Yeah.
part of your story dynamics.
Got it.
So
And
you
there's
can't
less-
just swap a class, even though
Yeah.
you can fully like respec on your class, like at any time, refund everything and go down a different path.
And like with Baldur's Gate, like you have so much information about the classes before you get in the game because D&D is 50 years old. But with this, it's like what's a rogue
Yeah.
in this
Right.
universe? Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
But yeah, so you pick like, your lineage, which is basically like elf, dwarf, kunari, or human. And then you get into the heads, you get into the body shapes. There's a triangle that goes from like skinny to muscular to fat, and you kind
yeah.
of place yourself on that
Athletic,
triangle.
Yeah.
The hair, I told you this at Summer Game Fest, the hair just looks looking
It
Good
looks
hair.
level.
amazing.
Yeah.
It looks so good.
Lots of individual strands, and lighting is great, and lots
Yeah.
of different types of hair, frizzier hair, straighter hair. Another good point is obviously we're playing these on monster PCs. So like probably $4,000 PCs.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it's going to play like on console, but I didn't come across any kind of like, usually preview builds, you get weird stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't come across any weird stuff in 6 or
Felt
7
ready.
hours. So
It's good.
yeah.
Give me that character creator.
Makeup, tattoos, pick your class, pick your backstory. So there's like 6 different factions, backstories to go from.
Street rat every time.
I went with the Shadow
Corpo.
Dragons, who are from Minrathous, which is the first city that you start in. This is something about them liberating slaves and stuff. So
Oh,
it's
okay.
Yeah, that's my guy. And then
Some Khaleesi
Free
shit.
folk. The free folk.
I think there were like 6 different difficulty options too, but each
6?
one also had like you could see like little marks
Yeah,
beneath
yeah,
it for like categories for incoming damage, enemy aggression, tactical challenge, and defense timing. So those are all the different things that make up your challenges. So I don't
Probably
know. If,
change it every time.
I don't know if you
anytime.
could go in and like change one of those
Custom,
individually,
I would
but I
imagine.
would think so.
Yeah. There's probably set difficulties and then a custom where you could just flip
Yeah.
on whatever you want. Yeah.
And then there are 4 main voice actors to choose from
For your player character.
for your player character. So
That I'm very excited
yeah,
about.
I know
So
Erica
work.
Ishii and Alex Jordan, and I forget the other 2, but I went with Alex Jordan because I had met him in Poland. Like, oh yeah, and that's how I found out about that.
funny.
It's like they have this thing called the Rookery where they'll like hang out and chat with each other.
Wow.
Cool.
Cool.
And then as we said, I'm not going to get into too many story details, but just to kind of set up how things are. Solus, who is an elf, who is a returning character. He's like an ancient elf.
Yeah, I remember. I kind of remember. He's bald.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's bald
yeah,
now.
yeah.
He,
This is all I remember.
the
about
game
Dragon
starts with you and Minrathis trying to track down Solus because he's trying to open up the veil, which I guess is
Wait, he's evil?
some kind of pocket where like all of these ancient elven
this game
gods and
20 years
demons
ago.
are sealed away. And as far as you like, he's trying to open it up. And so like
Okay.
you're running through town and then like demons are ripping out of tears and portals and stuff, attacking people. And at Summer Game Fest, like they described the prologue is like they wanted you to feel like the prologue is like the end of a game. Like
That's
you just
cool.
jumped in at the end of another game and
In
this is what's
media
happening.
res.
Yeah. And without going into too much detail, essentially, like, you catch up with him and you try to stop him, and things kind of get botched. And in that botch, 2 ancient elven gods get released, and then they start wreaking havoc across
Classic.
the world.
Okay.
So your goal then is
Is
to
to-
stop
to-
those 2
yeah.
elven gods.
Fight and kill God.
And there's a lot of backstory and stuff that they get into with their relationship. There's whole like side quests that you go down. Where
recruit
you
party
learn more about
members.
the history of like how they got their power and their relationship to Solus and everything. You know, because like I think he was part of like establishing the Veil to begin with. So
Okay.
it's very interesting that he's
Oh,
also
and
trying
you
to tear
are
it down.
guarding the veil.
Yeah,
Veil
Veil-
Guard,
that's where
as
the
it
name
were.
comes from. Yes, the Veilguard.
Hey, that's the name of the show.
And in there, like in that prologue with, dealing with Solus and everything, like you do start to see like some of like the conversation things, like you make choices and this character doesn't like it, but this character does, and choose who to accompany you and which part of the level and that kind of thing. And then there's another part later, because like one of the things that these ancient gods introduce is what's called the Blight. And it's just like this
Classic.
like fungal infection that like
Classic blights.
takes over whole towns
Fantasy
and stuff.
staple. Gotta watch out for that blight.
What's the one called in Sekiro?
The rot.
Dragon
the dragon
rot?
rot.
Dragon rot, yeah.
Rot,
And what's the
blight.
one in Dragon's Dogma?
I forget. I forget.
Oh, I know what you're talking
There's
about. But
always a
yeah, so
Blight.
but this is more of like set like story thing.
Yeah.
And so one of the parts later on that you go through, there's this town. There's just black tendrils everywhere, and these big pustules that you got to blast to get through passages, and
Gross.
people that are like mind controlled and stuff. And like there, like you have an interaction with this mayor that's just like caught up in like all of these tendrils, and he hasn't been taken over yet. And you learn about choices that he made, and you decide what
Whoa.
how you're going to react to what he did, and so again, without getting into too deep on that stuff, there's also another very, very big choice that they had us make that we cannot even talk about.
Ooh.
But it makes a big difference on things that where you're going to go later in the game and stuff.
Sweet.
So
Your choices matter, is what
yes,
you're saying.
yes, absolutely. In a very Mass Effect Fallout kind of way.
Yeah.
Characters and conversations. Every one of the companions that I got introduced to properly, like I was like instantly in with. The ones that I didn't, I was like, who is this guy?
Yeah, the footage we saw, everything
Yeah.
just looked really
Yeah.
natural and good.
Yeah.
There's Varric, who's with you in the prologue, who's the dwarf, who's a returning character. I think it's Vesemir's voice actor from Witcher 3.
It's classic.
Harding, who is a dwarf with the freckles. She's a returning character as well. There's Nev, who's like she's a mage, but she's also kind of like an intelligence officer or whatever in Minrathis.
Whoa.
And
Okay.
she's pretty cool. Balara is this elf with the veil jumpers in the forest that you meet, and she's like a tinkerer, so it's like almost like an elven engineer, and so like she can interact with like these old devices and things like that. Both of these I like a lot actually, but one of the coolest is Lucanus. He's basically like Vampire Ezio.
Nice.
So
I'm listening.
he's demon possessed. Like when he's in combat, he's got these purple wings and he'll like dive onto enemies and stuff. The demon.
Can you swap characters in combat?
Not at any time. When you like go out like on a quest and at certain like save points and stuff, you can swap.
Got it.
But you always have 2 companions.
Cool.
Oh, okay.
What's kind of cool though is
Baldur's
like
Gate.
when you get a companion, like they're not introduced as like a super big deal. So like at first, like with Balara, like, oh, there's just this girl coming along with us, and like I didn't realize, oh, she's gonna be with me for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
So that's cool. But yeah, with Lucanus's demon, it's really interesting the way it's set up because it's like you will see him as the player like in cutscenes. He's like a purple version of Lucanus, but your character and the other companions, they don't see this guy. So they just see Lucanus like
muttering
talking
to
into the
himself.
air.
Yeah.
And you're like, yo, right? You know? And there's also this weird
Love that.
aspect that like we're not sure about yet at first because like it doesn't make sense. Like if you're possessed by a demon, then the demon would usually take over the host.
Yeah.
And yet you're able to like talk back to this guy and he's able to like talk back and put the demon in its place and just like, oh, he gets grumpy sometimes.
It's like Venom, dude.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. And then the other one that I got to spend less time with, I didn't get the full introduction. His name is Davrin. He's a warden, and he's got like a little griffin companion, like a young griffin.
Exciting.
This guy's a traitor.
Pets.
So that's
Telling
what
you right now. The name. Yeah, this guy's a traitor.
He has a pet.
Yeah, the name.
you can pet him.
name.
He has a dog.
in the home base too. You can go and pet the griffin. But
Someone is a traitor.
that reminds me of the
Those are only the ones that Blood met.
Yeah.
Right? That's not everybody.
well, yeah. There's a couple others that were like in the party in like the last mission that I did, but I didn't really know much about them yet.
And can't you like? Some people can leave, and some people like.
Yeah, I don't know all the dynamics. One
Yeah.
thing that they did say, because there's a pretty lengthy Q&A afterwards, is, and it's like one of the things that has me the most excited, but I didn't get to see it, because obviously it would take time, is not only are you able to romance the different companions, but the companions can romance each other.
Yeah, take that, Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, I love that.
And I think that's going to be based on like,
Shoot your shot.
just like you
What do you?
yeah, but here, like, you're talking about, like, who you're going to bring into missions.
Yeah.
Like, I think that matters because, like, when I completed a quest, then it's like, oh, your bond with Harding increased, you know? And so I
That
think...
makes
I'm
sense.
maxing out every single bond.
So I think similarly, like, who's alongside each other might, like, Fire Emblem style, like, maybe boost each other. And they were talking, too, about, like... and I'm partly conjecturing here. So if I'm wrong later, I'm wrong. But one thing that they were saying is that like sometimes like if a companion is interested in another character, they might come up to you and like ask for advice and you can steer them the right way or
Right.
not.
Or you can be a jealous,
That is
frigid.
gnarly.
And then let's see what else. Yeah, there's a part in the prologue where like you're trying to catch up to Nev and meet Nev as your informant to find out where Solus is, and there's like a bar owner that was like, you're coming in and like after there was already a brawl, and you can essentially choose to like fight or try to talk it out. So there's that nice little bit there. I managed to get through without fighting. There's another like side character.
You say at a bar? You said at a bar?
Yeah.
Like a tavern?
Yeah.
Are the interiors good?
Very good.
That's all I care about.
Huber's listening.
Oh, the other thing with the Griffin, because I'll get into combat stuff a little bit more, but with the Griffin, like, it was another thing that sort of, there's a few things with the combat system that reminds me of, like, Visions of Mana as well, because I've been playing that, and it's like, it's like Visions of Mana with, like, better action combat.
Hell yeah.
Because it's like you have the action side, and then you have this, you, like, pause and, like, give commands.
Yeah.
And then having the Griffin with that character is just like the girl with the dragon in Mana in a way.
It's funny.
Anyways, get more into the comment in a second. The Veil Jumpers are these elves that are in Arlethan Forest, and they're pretty cool. There's a guy named Strife who looks really sick. There are the Crows, who are like that's the kind of like the Assassins family. It's like their leader feels like a mob boss or something.
Hell yeah, I'm in.
So she's pretty sick. And then like some of the different environments I saw, Minrathis is this big, gorgeous city where they're so accustomed to using magic that they use it like electricity.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And so like neon signs are basically
Yeah.
magic and stuff like that. And then they've
like
got
Immortals of Avium.
And yes. And then there's like this
Exactly like that.
watchtower like circle in the sky that like puts down searchlights and stuff to like find criminals. It's kind of crazy. But it's a really cool place to start.
Pretty big town.
Yeah, well, that one is the prologue, so like I haven't got to explore Minerathis yet. And even the places I did explore, like it's like, oh, well, I'm following the person. Like this is the first time here, so I'm kind of rushing by a lot of stuff.
Got it.
Again, the pacing was like go, get it all in. I even had to like skip one little bit so I could get to the last chapter.
I just loved in like Dragon's Dogma and Final Fantasy
Yeah.
VII Rebirth, just like getting to these towns, and they were just like so intricate. There's like so much to explore everywhere. It's
Yeah.
like, oh my god.
Yeah. Like overwhelming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, check every little alleyway.
Yep. Talk to
Love
every
that.
single possible person. Yeah.
So you do have this place called the Lighthouse, which is your home base. And that is basically like the Normandy, right? You're like this is where all your companions end up. Over time, as more people get there, it gets to be nicer and cleaner. And like I found like there's like some things that like you can buy to like decorate it and everything like that. And there's even
That's sick.
some like puzzles and side paths and things to kind of explore there and find out. And it's in this place that's like this sort of like pocket dimension or whatever called the Fade. And you kind of go from the lighthouse through a portal to like get to different places. And there's this other place called the Crossroads where there's just like lots of these different portals that go to different places throughout the world. And so like the Crossroads is sort of like there's a lot of the side quests for like Solus and stuff in there and different parts that open up as you go back and forth through it during the game. Talked about the Blighted Town. And then, so where those assassins are, that city is called Treviso.
Treviso.
And it's like a mix of Venice and Spain.
Treviso.
Sick.
So there's like canals
This sounds
and there's like
excellent.
grand
Yeah.
arches and stuff, but then like everyone speaks with sort of like a Spanish accent.
Okay.
Dope.
Yeah. So that was interesting. One of the other people there, it kind of threw them off though because they had also picked Alex Jordan as the voice actor, and he has this very clearly British accent. But they picked the backstory for Treviso. So she's like, if he's from Treviso, why does he sound British?
He was schooled somewhere else.
Right. He lived abroad.
You'll have to make up a backstory for yourself.
And then they even have like places where you like climb trellises and like zip line over rooftops and stuff. So it's very Assassin's Creed vibes in that place.
That's excellent.
Okay.
Tied to Treviso, one of the cooler dungeons I got to do is this underwater prison
Yeah, it
Called-
sounds dope.
called the Ossuary.
The raft.
And so it's like a bubble. It's almost like BioShock in a way but it's like Elven Ruin BioShock. And so there are parts where the magic is starting to get like a little weaker and like water's like coming through little holes, and there's you can see like corals and stuff like that in different places, and it was a really cool place to explore.
It's awesome.
A lot of
the
little-
context of it too is so cool.
Yeah, and that's where you have to go to recruit Lucanus because he's been in
Yeah.
this prison. Actually, everyone thought he was dead.
I love that.
Yeah.
Recruiting a prisoner is one of
Yes.
the best tropes.
Yeah.
So good.
And then some of the other things that were in there to like interact with the environments, there are like these little blue crystals that are like basically batteries. And so like you'd find like a slot that you need a battery to like open a door or form a bridge or something like that. And so you'd find a battery and then carry it over to the door. There was like a part where there's like just like a board that you'd kick over to like make a bridge to get over to like another island or whatever. There were like these red crystals that were like one crystal would like they would like create like a force field around things. And so like they would block passages with these force fields, so you couldn't get through because it's a red crystal. And so you'd smash the red crystal with your ranged attack, but they would be like there would be like a spider web of them. So you'd have to find the one red crystal that wasn't guarded and then like hit all of them in sequence.
Nice.
And then there were side rooms and stuff too to like get some pretty sick weapons. There's a ballista that you could get on and like shoot like holes through walls and like
Sick.
and have like kind of like enemies rushing
This
you.
is
and
all for
shoot
the
them.
prison break? Or
These are
whatever?
all like
Just in
on the
general,
night, all,
around.
just general,
Okay,
like
okay,
just
okay.
different environmental stuff.
I think you can.
And then your
yeah.
companions have environmental abilities too. So
Ah.
like Balara, she's the tinkerer, so like she repairs some elven device. Lucanus, because he's demon possessed, he can like pull in purple floating platforms from the Fade
Sick.
that you can jump across. Those are the only two that I really saw of those.
It's one of the most underrated things about the evolution of video games is like how many different things characters can do now,
Right.
you know? It's crazy.
I have a question about like UI, HUD, leveling up.
I'm getting into that stuff.
Oh, you're getting to that. Okay,
Like
great.
I've got these things in blocks.
Great.
Sorry, in my notes. So yeah. So next
So I want to make sure you
block
didn't skip it.
is combat.
Okay.
And
Oops, I'm sorry.
got to spend a lot, like some aspects of the game I didn't get to spend a long time with. I got to spend a lot of time in combat. And that's the thing is like, even if you're looking at it and you're like not sure, it's like, no,
Looks
it
crazy.
feels really good. It's like a really good blend of like the action combat, but then also having to think about all of these other different layers. And there's a lot of nuance to it. So it's like, yeah, you've got like a basically like 3-hit light attack combo with whatever class that you have. But you can also charge that light attack to get like a stronger attack out of it. And then your heavy attack is typically something that's like a little bit different. So like with the mage, with the staff, you're doing this like throwing fireballs. And then if you charge, then you throw a bigger fireball.
Nice.
But then with the heavy attack, you do like this sort of like force blast. It's kind of like a cone in front of you. And if you charge, then you basically like add power to that blast. So you charge it up, get like 3 pips, and then hit it again, and then you've got a stronger blast.
Sick.
But then also,
Sounds satisfying.
yeah. But then also like you've got like a running attack. So if you dash in and smash down with the staff, and then you also have you can equip 2 sets of weapons at any time. So you just hit down on the D-pad to change weapons. And so like with the mage, their second set of weapons I didn't connect with quite as strongly with as the staff, but basically it's called like orb and knife. And so you have an orb that's like shooting these little shots at guys. But when you shoot a guy with the orb, it marks them. And when they're marked, then your knife does more damage.
Hunter's mark.
And so if you
Classic.
if you like hit him with like 3 marks or 4 marks, then it like becomes like an arcane bomb.
More
And
dots.
So does even more power on it.
How did? Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Everyone's got a ranged attack, so you just hit your right trigger to do your ranged. So for the mage, that's like a laser beam essentially coming out of their staff. And that not only does damage from range, but it does damage to specific barrier types. So you've got like a barrier over their health bar. So if you're just whacking on them, you've
like
got
their shield.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, it's like a biotic shield or whatever
Yeah,
in Mass
yeah,
Effect, essentially.
Mage armor.
And then the warrior does like the Captain America shield throw. And then I believe the rogue has like a bow or something like that. So
Throwing knives or some shit.
yeah.
Crossbow.
Yeah.
And then one of the other things that the rogue could do is they had like a turret, so you could put like down like an auto crossbow turret that would help. And then like I was using
A turret that's a crossbow is hilarious.
An enchanted turret.
Yeah.
and then there's
crossbow
you had like twin daggers that I was using, and so you could put like have like bleed effect on it. There's this cool like thing where it could like jump and then like dive down onto guys.
Sounds fun.
And that felt really good. And I think there's something about that too. Is like the rhythm of it all is pretty good, to where it's like I can't just go in there and like mash with with the staff, because like I've got to know the rhythm of that. If I'm mashing and somebody like shoots back at me, then like I just get hit, and my attack doesn't connect. But you can dodge really quick. You can like double tap the dodge to sort of like dash away. You do have a block. And one thing I was like I ended up like really relying on the mage's block, because it puts like a force field dome around you. And then with the mage, if you force field dome and then you hit the heavy attack, it blasts out.
Seems OP.
AOE.
Yeah, nice little AoE there.
Damiani.
And then
Yeah.
your weapons all have different
Elementals.
elemental stuff. So you got fire, you got necrotic, you've got ice.
Necrotic damage.
Yeah.
Is that your favorite type
One
of
of my
damage?
favorites. Yeah. Necrotic.
And so I think that there is a parry in there too with the block if you do it at the right time. But because I was doing the mage shield thing most of the time, I never quite got the parry down, and I was just doing a lot more dashing, dodging out of the way.
The
Skill
clip
issue.
we saw of Bloodworth fighting in this game was actually insane.
It was
'cause
pretty
it was like
crazy.
spells were flying around, and also the mage was like flipping and
Yeah.
and jumping around and air dashing and tossing lightning spells. It was crazy.
Yeah,
It
when
was
there's
really
a lot
fun.
of like area of effect things from enemies too, just like okay, there's a red spot on the ground, got to move out of the way.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
And then the warrior, the things that we had there, so they have like a one-handed, so they'll have like a sword or an axe with the shield, or two-handed, so it had like these big hammers.
Excellent.
And then also,
Feel the weight of that? Did you use a hammer or no?
yeah.
Do you feel good?
Yeah, definitely
'Cause
weighty.
it's such a
Definitely
hard-
get a good charge on it.
Yeah.
Mm.
How was the damage though? It's such an annoying thing in RPGs is when like the heavy attack for a big giant two-hander is like the slowest move in the game. And it does like barely any more damage than
I
like
hate
some
that.
fast ass dagger.
Yeah.
They get that wrong
I don't
8
think
out of
it's
10
that
times.
slow.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's that slow.
And I also have a bias.
Yeah. And then, so that's just like the
Slowest
action
move
in the
in the
moment
game.
combat. But then on top of that, like going down your skill tree and stuff, you unlock abilities, right? So you pull up like basically the tactical wheel thing, and then you can, okay, time is paused. I can pick a target. I can select ability and pull that off. Or you can also just like hit like the left trigger and then hit a button for like, just the ones that are right on you. But then with your companions, they have abilities too, and they can also combo abilities. So that's really nice. Is like, and it will show you like really clearly, like in the UI, it's like this combos with this. And so like, okay, have them do that.
Nice.
Obviously, everyone's going to be on cooldown, so if they've just done an ability, you can't. But it's really nice to like, again, like you're saying, like those crazy moments, which is like everything is intense and going on all around you, and it just feels like I have all the tools to
That's-
manage this.
That's why
you know?
Dragon Age Origins is such a legendary, timeless classic, is because of that level of strategy.
Yeah.
That kind of went away with 2. I haven't really played Inquisition, but just being able to, get in there and like have your combat, but then also just feel like you can kind of control the flow of the battle.
Yeah.
I think it's just really awesome.
And with like the different skill directions, so like with the mage, I could kind of like focus a little bit more on like ice, chain lightning, or fire.
Chain lightning.
But then like with the warrior,
Damiani.
like, like you just get access to different abilities, depending on which way you go. So like the warrior that they had on the save file, like he had a drop kick. He had this thing where like these huge swords just fly in out of the sky and like
Cool.
attack a bunch of dudes.
So what was your favorite?
There was an ice smash too, by
Nice.
the way. Yeah.
What was your favorite class that you played?
My favorite was still like I picked it right off the bat. Like the mage with the staff was great. And they talked too about like with the subclasses, there's a thing like called spell sword that is like a mage plus rogue essentially. Like it puts those
I
things two
see.
together. But like when you go down, it's interesting because like I was saying, there's like that like ice, fire, lightning path, and so that like is like one triangle, and then you kind of have to go down one of those paths for a while first, and then you can start charting your way over to where the subclasses are. So it's like if you go up, then it's like, okay, from here I can go to this subclass or that subclass.
Got it.
But like I said, you can refund all that stuff.
If you're like, I hate this, I could. You
Exactly.
Can, yeah.
Just okay, pop through another skill tree.
Great.
So it's really
Very
nice.
friendly.
Yeah.
Very friendly on that. There are staggers and like knock a guy out with a stagger when he's down. There's an ultimate that builds up, so you get some nice fun little attacks like that. There are runes that you get kind of later that like add like extra little buffs. Like okay, you got 20 seconds of ice damage on these, regardless of what your weapon's actual innate is. See, I talked about all the rogue stuff. Talked about all that stuff. Companions also have their whole skill trees of their own that are smaller than yours, but still room to customize like what they can do and what's going to work with you. Like, because too, like sometimes you want a companion that has a healing ability.
It's required.
But with that
Yeah.
warrior that they had, I had some belt on that when I drank a potion, it sent out like a fire blast.
Cool.
So it's like
Whoa.
knowing, like, not just I need a heal, but like if I heal and I get in the group, if I dodge into these guys and then pop a potion, and then like they're all gonna burn.
It's very fun. That's cool.
And then you can get. They were getting less frequent as I got further in, but they were like green jars that you smash everywhere to like refill your potions. So I was only able to hold 3 at a time.
Yeah, but you were always at.
But there was always like enough green jars around.
Yeah.
And then what else? Did some cool boss fights. Fought this with when we were rescuing Lucanus. Like the boss there is this guy Calivan, who's like some kind of like.
That sounds so
It's
familiar.
like Mr. Sinister or something. Like
That does
he's
sound
down in the
familiar.
prison experimenting on people, and I think that's like how Lucanus got a demon or something along those lines.
Cool.
Get his ass.
Yeah. And then cool quality of life stuff. Picking up armor. Like as soon as you open a chest, pop up. Here's what you got. Here's the comparison.
Love that.
That's
Equip.
such a relief.
Thank you.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
Exactly.
Thank you.
How much loot and ingredients were you picking up in your 7 hours of blood?
I think there was a fair amount like of little ingredients out there, but I wasn't getting too much in terms of like loot. Like
Okay.
but
But a lot of crafting materials.
New weapons and stuff.
Oh, yeah, are
were
you
pretty
crafting
spread
a
out.
lot?
I don't think you're really crafting, but it seemed like you could like sell off a bunch of stuff
okay.
to a merchant.
Okay.
And then the merchants, not only would they have weapons, but they could upgrade your weapon. So that's another thing that you could see with the weapon, that like it would have additional perks, but they have like a little red padlock on them.
Okay.
And then if you upgrade them, you unlock that perk.
See.
Dopamine.
Yeah. But you also need to.
Did you unlock anything?
But you also, yeah.
How was the lock animation? Did it do some like cool like?
It wasn't that crazy
Aw.
because it was just a menu. Like, it was an extra text. But I saw too that like the shopkeeper, because I only got to do like one shopkeeper in the Veil Jumpers camp. They also had like a rank for their shop, so I don't know what exactly you have to do to rank up the
Mission.
stores.
Yeah, maybe
or,
those
like, buy.
animations are better on the. on the-
Yeah, maybe there's side quests
Or just the more you buy, you level.
more
it
you
up.
buy could be
Sell.
Yeah, because like Stellar Blade was like that. It's like the more you
Yeah.
bought from
Yeah.
somebody. Yeah.
Sick game.
And then the helmet thing. You know how like some people don't want to see their helmets. Mm-hmm. That's right there on the equip menu. There's a little button.
Optional.
You just toggle it between the 3 things. It's like.
Well, you don't have to show your helmet.
You don't have to. So you can either.
Every game
You can either
ever
have-
made from this point on needs to have that
Yeah.
option. 100%.
Is it
That needs
never
to be-
only show in battle?
Right.
Okay.
So
Always
never, always,
Yeah.
or don't show them.
Because on my
Or don't show cutscenes.
on my
that's it, yeah,
Wukong
yeah.
stream, I was like, why can't I need to hide my face mask? My
Yeah, if
helmet.
it's ugly, I'm not wearing it.
Like-
I don't care how good it is. I'm
Yeah.
not wearing it because I don't
But
want to
that's
look
why
at
it's nice
it.
that it's right there
Yeah,
next
yeah.
to the helmet on your equipment screen. It's
Yeah.
not buried somewhere in the menu, right?
Every game needs to have it. Every single one. It needs to be a
Yeah.
standard.
To me, it's like
feature.
unacceptable.
Yeah.
That's not.
I agree.
Like a standard.
100%.
And then there's a bunch of stuff that we couldn't capture, and we had some big moments and all that I talked about. And then like the last section they showed us was this place. I don't know if it's Weishaupt or Weishaupt. Don't know. Don't know the Dragon Age canon on that. But it's like you go there and it's under siege by one of the elven gods. And you step out this one door and there's this massive blue face in the sky talking at you with the clouds coming out of it.
Classic.
And then there's this dragon flying around, but it's not actually a dragon, it's an archdemon they're correcting you on. It's like, okay. And
Did
it's just
you?
chaos going on.
Yeah. Did you connect with a lot of the smaller moments, Bloodworth? Because my problem with
I know that
many
they're there, but I
fantasy-
didn't get enough
Okay.
time to do that. Like there was
I'm
one
gonna
moment
s-
where we came back to the lighthouse for the first time where like Neb's got bruises and stuff on her face.
Whoa.
And like, you just checking in, making sure
What
everybody's
happened?
doing okay.
yeah.
But like I said, most of it's like rushing through a lot. So I didn't get as much time with characters, small moments, side characters. Yeah.
Because at this moment, just this moment right now in my life, I'm just not here for ancient evils. I'm just
Isn't
not.
that Wukong?
It's everything ever, and I'm just like, yo, just give me the small moments,
But
you know?
can they be together?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That's the question of
Yeah.
Dragon Age is like, Because Dragon Age is known to have those really strong characters.
I
those
doubt
really
they took
intimate
them
moments.
out.
Yeah.
I doubt they took them out.
There was actually, so like, I don't want to spoil the scene too much, but there's a very cool scene there too, where like you head in, and that's the thing too, where it's like not all action, right? Like there's action and there's like some story bits.
Yeah.
Because you head in and like the Vanguard, or I forget what they're called, but the guys that are there, they're in the war room, trying to be like, we need to deal with this situation. What are we gonna do? And your character is like, this is what we need to do. And they're the wardens. That's what they're called. Like their commander is like, no, we're not gonna do that. And so you got to resolve that conflict before you can move on, you know.
Nice,
and so
good.
those conversation trees there.
Cool.
Oh yes, Hubert. I looked back over the footage of that crazy section of combat. There are definitely places where I did a big ice blast and then smashed them all to pieces. There you go.
Oh, yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love freezing people and smashing them into bits.
And then we were running to the library to try to set off some trap for that dragon. And that's as far as I can say.
Sweet.
As soon as we open that library door, it's like, you got to stop capturing.
You gotta stop. You're done. Awesome.
Yeah.
Sounds really promising, Bloodworth, from everything you've said. The characters and the combat specifically sounds really, really fun.
Yeah. Like I said, like I had no real expectations for this because I'm not, not a big Dragon Age fan.
Yeah.
You know, I played the Mass Effects. Obviously, some people didn't like Andromeda, didn't live up to the highs, and we had Anthem and all that other stuff. So it's like, don't know where this is going.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it looks gorgeous. Great lighting, great characters, great combat.
The map. How was it?
The map, I mean...
Is there a mini map?
There is a mini map. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. I actually can't show the map. That's one of the things I can't put on screen.
Okay.
So,
Spoilers, because it shows all the places.
but I wasn't. The
But
thing
can
is
you
I
talk
wasn't
about the
looking
map?
at the map really.
Okay.
So the only place where like I felt like
Are there
confused
like
was the
waypoints?
crossroads.
Like, are there like 10,000 different question marks, or is it like?
It's not like an open world.
Okay.
That's why I was kind of comparing it to Uncharted because
Right,
it is
right,
more of like I'm going through a level from sort of beginning to end, except for when you're in a town or when you're in the crossroads or something like that. I'm not just like constantly wandering around a
Interesting.
giant open field.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, it's a very like dungeony kind of
Would
level
you
design.
compare it to 16 in a way, or no?
Maybe in a way, yeah. I'd say more like, yeah. Like I said, I think like Uncharted God of War is more in the realm of like what I'm thinking.
That makes sense.
Like how they're set up.
Cool.
Yeah. So like some places you could backtrack through, but a lot of the time you're just kind of like, oh, I'll go this way, and there's a side route to go over here, then get back on the main path.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm sure EA is pleased, Blood, because this game was not on my radar at all, and now it is.
Yeah.
So there you go. You did your job, Blood.
EA shill. That is a joke.
All right. Well, that was a lot of talking. Thank you for watching. We are Easy Allies. If you enjoy all our coverage, please check out patreon.com/Easy Allies. Chip in a few bucks. And hopefully you like it as much as I have. And hopefully I like the rest of it as much as I have so far. Who knows? All was Act 1. Could go south, could go better. Who knows?
Yeah.
See you soon.